Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I have 5 brand new Dollar Tree Halloween DIYs that you don't want to miss out on. If you're new here and you like home decor and DIYs on a budget, especially Halloween, make sure to stick around by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you never miss out on a new video. All right, now let's get into all of these new DIYs. So for this first DIY, I wanted to kind of recreate this witchy book scene with lights from Grandin Road that was $49.50. I really like the way it looks, but I don't have $49.50 to purchase this book, so I'm going to try to do it from all Dollar Tree materials. So Dollar Tree has these fake Halloween books out. They come in 3 different sizes. There's a small, medium, and large. I picked the medium-sized book, and they have different styles of the covers for the books. So I chose this one, and I'm not going to change it, but you could change the outside of the book if you wanted to. Now, for the paper that I'm cutting out here, I created these scenes on canva.com, and I have linked the free printables down below in my description box if you wanted to print these exact scenes out and use these if you wanted to recreate this book. So all I did was print it out on regular paper and I cut it out. Now I just measured the inside of my book, and that's how I got the measurement to put into Canva to create these sceneries. So if you wanted to do it yourself, you would just have to measure the inside of your book, go to canva.com and customize the size, and then you can choose from all different types of wallpaper and pictures and things like that to add to your background. But all I'm going to do with my paper is I'm going to take some Mod Podge and I'm just going to lay that down on the inside cover of my book, and I'm going to put that window scene on that, and then the other scene I'm going to do on the back cover of the book. And I'm just going to put the Mod Podge on the inside, and I'm not going to layer another layer of Mod Podge on top because I have an inkjet printer and it will smear and tear the paper since I didn't use like heavy duty paper. But the Mod Podge on the back is just fine. Now, so that you can see my scenery, I went ahead and cut the pages kind of out of the book, that top part out of the book, and I just used scissors for that because this is just cardboard, and then I Mod Podged that other piece onto the side panel there. Now for the floor, I'm just going to use some moss that I had. Well, actually it is literally just leftover scraps of moss, so I barely had enough to cover the bottom, but I just put some Mod Podge on, covered it, and then I sprayed it with some hairspray to make sure that it didn't fall off all over the place. And this cauldron is from Dollar Tree. It comes in like a pack of a few, and I just took that plastic cauldron and I hot glued that down, and then I hot glued some orange battery operated lights inside the cauldron, and I glued the battery pack to the outside of the book so that way you couldn't see it. And then for the bubbles for the cauldron, I just used some pearls that were from Dollar Tree in 2 different sizes and hot glued that on top of my cauldron, kind of just around the base, not to cover up the lights. And then the last thing I needed to do was create a cute little witch's broom. So I just took a small dowel from Dollar Tree and I just broke it off so that way I didn't have a perfect top. And I took some raffia that I already had from Dollar Tree and I just put that together and tied it on to the dowel with some twine, and then I hot glued that to the inside of the book next to the cauldron. I love how this turned out. It was fun to make. I love this cute little scenery. You can make anything you want and use any products from Dollar Tree. They have so many different things that you could make a cute little scenery inside of a book, and this looks adorable on a bookshelf next to your decorations for Halloween. For this next DIY, I was inspired by this Grandin Road Broomstick snack bowl stand for $199. I'm going to make one that is a candle holder, but you could also double it as a snack bowl holder. And then like the Grandin Road one, you can also hang a sign from it if you wanted to do that instead. So the first thing I'm going to use is 3 of these plunger handles from Dollar Tree. Obviously, I'm not using the plunger part. I'm just using the wooden handles, and I cut 2 of them in half with my miter saw, and then I also cut off the bottom screw part that screws into the plunger off of all 3 of them just to make them more even looking. And then I spray painted them with some black spray paint. I used high heat because that's what I had, but you don't have to use that. And then what I'm going to do with the 4 small ones, the ones that I cut in half, is I'm going to take 2 of them, stack them on top of each other to make an X, where it's smaller at the top and larger at the bottom. And then I'm going to use my drill to drill a pilot hole in them and then drill a screw into them to hold them. And I just used a little bit of hot glue to secure them while I was drilling into them, so that way they didn't move around on me too much. And that way I have 2 stands. Now they don't stand up on their own. I did try to cut them at an angle with my miter shears here, and actually miter shears do work to cut these, but be careful because they will split the wood. But cutting them at an angle didn't work for me, so that is why I'm hot gluing them down to these 2 pieces of square wood that I got from Dollar Tree that I had lying around. And then I spray painted them all black so it would all match. Now I'm going to go ahead and make the broomstick part of this. So I just took the longer handle that I did not cut, and I'm taking 5 of these sparkly glittery picks from Dollar Tree, and I'm just alternating the colors because I have black and orange, and I'm hot gluing them to the bottom of the broomstick handle, and then I used a little bit of twine to wrap around to even it out. And then all I'm going to do is set the broomstick handle on top of my stands here, and then I have some of these little jack-o'-lantern glass lanterns from Dollar Tree. I actually thought only 2 was going to work out, so I'm showing you 2 here, but I'm going to use 3 because 3 does fit all across this. And then I also took the handles on the lanterns and I used some wire cutters, and I just made them a little bit shorter because they hung too low and they were touching the ground. So that way when I hung them up, they were a little bit higher. And I just used twine to hang them. I think this turned out cute. I just put some battery operated tea lights in them. But like I said, you could also put some candy or snacks in them, and it just looks adorable, and it was a lot less than the $199 the one at Grandin Road was. Next up, I'm going to be using one of these crystal balls from Dollar Tree. It has sort of a metallic-y look to it, and then also it has a lid on it so you can put stuff inside of it. So I'm just going to unscrew that lid, and I am going to make this into a lighted up, smoky looking crystal ball. So to get that smoky effect, I'm going to use some cotton balls from Dollar Tree. I just split them apart and broke them up a little bit and shoved some in. And then to make it glow, I'm going to use some of these battery operated lights from Dollar Tree. All I could find was orange at mine, but I think purple would look really cute for this. So I just stuffed the lights in and then stuffed some more cotton balls in and then just moved it around a little bit so that way it would cover up the black wiring and all you would see was the orange glow of the lights. And then once I got that all figured out and I couldn't see any of the wires anymore, I just put my lid back on and then I hot glued the battery pack to the back of the lid and the crystal ball. Now I'm going to elevate this with a candlestick that I had lying around from Dollar Tree that I had painted black for a previous project. So I just hot glued that on top of there. And then I am going to add these skeleton hands. These are the salad tongs, and I just cut them at the elbow. And I just use my miter saw to do that, but you could also, if you had like a wood burning tool, you could burn them off as well. Just make sure that you're wearing a mask and doing it in a well-ventilated area. Once I cut those off, I'm just gonna hot glue those to the side of my crystal ball. And then I just hot glued a little spider at the top to cover up that little dot. And then, I don't know, I thought it was missing something, so I took a little bit of gold metallic paint and I just kind of brushed it on the lid and the candlestick just to make it look a little more old and weathered and more Halloween-ish, I guess. And that was it for this crystal ball. I love how it turned out. I have made a previous crystal ball like this in a different video a while back, and it was a little more intricate, but this one was a lot easier to make, and I think it turned out just as good as the previous one. So it's definitely a great piece of easy and inexpensive decor to add to your Halloween decorations. For this next DIY, I was just using some things that I had lying around, which is one of these styrofoam cones from Dollar Tree. And then I had a bunch of these eyeballs from Dollar Tree that I never used last year. So I think I used 3 or 4 packs of these for this DIY, and I am just going to hot glue the eyeballs onto the styrofoam cone. All I did was start at the bottom and work my way around. Unfortunately, you can see here, like, it wasn't a perfect fit all the way around. I had to leave a little bit bigger of spaces around some of the eyeballs than I really wanted to, unfortunately, because they just all didn't fit the perfect way. But I still think it turned out really cute in the long run, and I'm going to cover up those spaces. You'll see that in the next part. For the top, I had this solar eyeball light from Dollar Tree that I got last year, so I thought that would be perfect on top of this little eyeball tree. So I just kind of carved a hole with my X-Acto knife in the top there, and I took out the stake part, and then I just placed a little bit of hot glue and shoved it in there. And then for covering up the holes, I am using just some of this Spanish moss that came from Dollar Tree as well. And I'm just going through all of the nooks and crannies and holes that were left in between everything and adding a little bit of hot glue and then adding the Spanish moss in between. So that way it just covers up everything. It makes everything nice and even. So that way you can't see any holes. The Spanish moss does get a little bit messy, but I did trim it up a little bit at the end with some scissors, and you can see all of the eyeballs perfectly fine after that. And then I decided to go ahead and add some of these spider lights from Dollar Tree. I just wrapped them around the tree. Again, this was something that I had left over from last year, but I know Dollar Tree is selling all of this stuff again this year, so you'll be able to find it if you want to recreate it. I glued the battery pack to the back of the eyeballs, and I think this turned out kind of spooky and fun and something different for Halloween this year. For this last DIY, I'm using some items that I already had lying around from Dollar Tree last year again, and I am going to use this skeleton hand. I just spray painted it black, and I'm also going to use this mirror from Dollar Tree that's already painted gold and kind of has the intricate look of Halloween to it. And I'm just going to hot glue that hand to the bottom of the mirror. And actually, I did come back and use some E6000 in combination with the hot glue to make sure it held up, because the hot glue just didn't hold up enough. And then I just placed one of the glittery lighted pumpkins on the hand and hung it up. I think this looks really cool. You could definitely do this with a bunch of them and hang them on the wall and put just some lightweight candles or things like that on them. Well, that is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed these Halloween DIYs. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.